tall, so not the biggest barbarian, but I'm jacked.
It's a hair and braids.
We could put our hair in braids.
Once if we put it into braids and then we wrapped it around, and then we gave them the flowers, sticking together, and then when we did this,
Another drink, please.
Yes, you may. And he goes over.
Put your hands up. It's better.
No. Sarah, roll me a Constitution, saving throw.
Yes, you. I'm gonna fight you.
He sort of. You guys know who I am, right?
Yeah. Goggles.
You're
Dr.
Mole?
Robot. Dr. Robot.
What do you do?
Take a moment to try to stop laughing.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do the same thing with the other one.
Why not? It worked again.
Hating on Batman.
I don't hate Batman for the record. I hate the fandom of Batman.
Oh, cool. Okay,
That's the
that's
issue.
way more people.
It is. It's
To
a
hate.
lot of like actual human beings.
Were you gonna?
You need to rub this crap off your neck and not smell like me, or I will fail. Just start rubbing his neck and just getting like.
I am fairly certain it doesn't matter what I smell like at this point.
To a feline, you have wolf's piss on you.
I'm just gonna point at my feline eyes.
I have some kind of
You've just tuned in. We had the brilliant idea while we were fishing at the Dark Moon Festival.
Oh, jeez.
To do a dungeon with fishing poles equipped. Because why not? And so we drank all of the alcohol in our bags, and we equipped our fishing poles and our aquatic pets, and we went to do a dungeon.
I feel like I need to close out.
So this was the end of our epic tale. What holds for next week as the heroes set sail? We may find more family, we may find where things start. All we know is to follow our hearts. So our heroes set forth to pillage and to wander in the magical continent of wonder. We have one more question. I hope to not blunder. The question for you, dear friends. Do you wonder?
Thank you, guys. Indigo Connect.
Hello, everybody! Welcome. It is Sunday night, and we've got a little something special for you. I really miss this land I created, a Fairly Tale, so we're going to go back there. We have some new faces sitting with us at the table, which I'm very excited about. We also have some familiar faces here at the table with us, so yeah. It's going to be a good time. We've got a few announcements before we get started with tonight's game. The first and foremost, we have an amazing Discord. You can hang out with us in the Discord, and we can share memes together. I'm moving to this background. This background was created by Alcaboose Bender with exactly like 10 or 15 minutes before we started stream, and it's amazing. The amazing work that he does. If you'd like to interact more with Alcaboose Bender or find what he's posting and things of that sort, log into the Discord and hang out there. We also have a shop. This shop is one that you can find some merch. You can get different mugs and t-shirts and prints and all sorts of cool stuff like that. So be sure to thank you Indigo and thank you Mauda for doing mod duties tonight and finding out information about the shop. Not only that, but we also have an online shop. This is for you to buy digital collectibles that I've released in-game, certain magical items that belong to characters. You can level up your Twitch avatar. You'll notice that the chocolate cake that we had on there for Indigo's birthday is gone, unfortunately. That has disappeared. However, there is a brand new item up. This is the magical butterfly of reroll. This magical butterfly of reroll can be purchased for any player that's playing in this game or any of the other campaigns that we have, and that player will be granted a reroll. It also heals them up a little bit because apparently it's a magic card, the image that I took, and that butterfly heals people. So on the magic card. So the argument was a good argument. So you can check out that little store if you're watching us via desktop. There's always fun ways to interact with the game. There was a spoiler, but that was purchased by someone. A spoiler, look into the campaign. So, but there is still the ability to buy a NPC spot for yourself or a character that you once created that means a lot to you, or a loved one in your life that you want to live on in perpetuity forever and ever, in either Wonderland or Neverland. There's lots of cool stuff there. So yeah, okay, I think that's it for those announcements. We've got a lot of cool upcoming shows happening this coming week. Tomorrow night is Monday. It'll be me gaming. I think we're going back to Undertale or Kingdom Hearts. I haven't decided yet. But if you want to come hang out with us and watch, last week I got to play Kingdom Hearts, and it was Nostalgia Center as I got to play Kingdom Hearts, the very first one on the PlayStation 4. So come hang out. It's an informal time to just kind of chill and relax and play games. That is Monday. Tuesday night we go back to Wonder. It's one of our weekly campaigns. The crew went through some changes last episode. Player lost an arm in the game. There were some discoveries on backstory and things of that sort, but this is set in Wonderland years and years after the events of Alice in Wonderland and the Cheshire Cat, and a lot of those creatures and beings have been deified, and it's a new group of heroes navigating the world. That's on Tuesday. On Wednesday night, we are dark here on the channel. On Thursday night, you can... Thursday night, there's a very special one-shot taking place here. On Friday nights, we usually do our other campaign set in Neverland, and we had an episode this past week that two of our characters had to miss. So this Thursday, I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm Rosencrantz and Guildensterning it. I'm showing you the flip side of the coin of the story you already saw. So I'm showing you what happened to these other two characters once they sort of branched off and all of the random stuff that happened, but I have to tell it within the constraints of the story that I already told with the rest of the party. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but I'm excited to tell this story set in Neverland. Please come and hang out with us. It's going to be great. And then we cycle back around to Friday and Saturday. We are dark, but on Sunday we have another D&D 101. Where I had a lot more spots available before we started streaming backstage, and now we are down to one spot available for anyone who would like it. I'll post a recruitment up in the Discord. That's it, I think. So, all of that being said, once upon a time, in the kingdom of Fairly, a group of heroes that had worked together before is resting for the evening. This group of heroes have gone on several adventures together and journey through the kingdom of Fairly. Fairly is one of those odd places that's fairly close to all other kingdoms. And not only that, but seems to be a nexus point for worlds. Heroes that come from far and distant lands, or come from the kingdom of Wonder, or come from the kingdom of Neverland, all eventually find their way through this kingdom of Fairly. Fairly's never lacking when it comes to heroes or people looking to prove themselves, to make a difference in the world. Unfortunately, Fairly is also never lacking when it comes to power-hungry individuals, people looking to channel the arcane arts for nefarious purposes. Regardless of the case, luckily for us, we have a group of heroes. You six have been traveling together for quite some time, using each other's strengths to bolster your teammates and clutch victory out of the jaws of defeat, and sort of relying on each other to make up for any weaknesses that you have. And there seems to be a simpatico that's been found, a nice balance. So as we go into this tavern, and we see the 6 of you sitting at a table. Let's take a second for the audience to establish who you are, and I'd like you to introduce yourself, the character you're going to be playing, and maybe the class they are or what they look like. Okay? Al, let's start with you.
I'm Al. I'm playing Mark, the lurker in the Deep Warlock. He's about 5'8", 130 pounds, short brown hair, looks like he hasn't slept in months.
I'm into it. Who else do they see?
I'm Cassandra. I'm playing Seth. She is a half-orc barbarian, about 6 feet tall. Very hog-looking, kind of pinkish skin with the big bottom teeth and
I like it. Does she have tusk or like
a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, those little nubs of just everything kind of sounds funny. Her name sounds like Seth. So.
I love it. Lewis.
All right. I'm Lewis. I also go by Solaris. I'm playing Stitches. He is a bard. He has grayish skin. He's very slender in build, and he wears a sack over his head.
Cool. Next.
I am playing Fabian Skyglow. He's an Azamar paladin. He has white hair, glowing white eyes, pale skin. Hair's pretty long. Usually wearing like a golden suit of armor.
Okay.
I'm Mackenzie. I am playing Nina. She's a high elven cleric. She's about 5'10", long blonde hair, also pretty pale. Yeah.
I'm Amp. I'm going to be playing Malcolm Toon. 2 different names. And he is a rogue. I'm about 5'11". Apparently I have a back cloak. Found that out today. But it's going to be very, very dark. But it's not gothic. But you'll figure it out. I'm going to figure it out as it goes. And he's very sneaky. Quick hands.
Adventurers, heroes, you find yourselves in the tavern known as the Wayward Sheep. The Wayward Sheep is a central point here in Fairly. It is named after a fairly recent adventure that happened, and the owner tries to keep things topical, so the name of the tavern keeps changing to things that have happened in the past. So it's fairly inexpensive, and it's a fairly crowded night as you all relax at your table. Even so, there are adventurers sort of antsy and waiting to dive into the thick of things, such so that when the 6 of you are seated at the table, a young woman will walk into the tavern and go over to a small board that's right near the entrance. A small dwarf by the name of Craig maintains this particular board, and he upkeeps it for any sort of adventurers or people that are in search of heroes. But Craig's list is updated as she posts a small notice on the side. But the bar is yours. What would you like to do?
Drink.
Yeah, I would say I'd say there's enough renown that this group has had, like that you actually don't have to pay for drinks. I think based off the last adventure, your stories are enough thus far that have earned your place in the town of Fairly as sort of renown. Who isn't drinking? Okay. The 3 of you, the rest of you, are we drinking or are we dranking?
Drinking for sure.
Drinking?
Just drinking.
Yeah,
Just drinking.
having a few.
Just having a few. So you're a little happy at this point. Like you've tipped a few back and things are great. Give me a Constitution saving throw, please. Our first roll of the night of Thuff. Just let's see how well you can hold your liquor.
19 plus 6.
Yeah, you know what? You at one point you do a keg stand, but you're worried about balance, so you just pick up the keg instead. You're like, "Am I doing it?" And you're just like drinking. But it's fine. It tends to go really well for you. As you're placing the keg on the ground and sort of bumping, getting back to your seat, you bump into a small man who's dressed to the nines. So he and he's a lot smaller than you. He's about 3 feet tall, and he hits the ground as you accidentally back into him, and he's just sort of like brushing the dirt and grime off of this bar, off of his pants.
Can I kind of like help him up, pat him down?
Yes. Yeah. Sure. You could. Do you say anything, or you're just like, like?
I just kind of want to look at him a little bit. I like small men, so I'm kind of looking at him.
Yeah. He's a youngish. Actually, give me a perception check as you're just sort of you're kind of scoping out this little guy.
15 plus 4.
Yeah. He's handsome in the face. He is a gnome, so he's like 3.5 feet tall, but he is dressed to the nines. Like, this dude's flush with cash. Like, he's doing good. And sure enough, as you accidentally push him down, one of the many coin purses on him, one of them falls to the ground, and then the bag sort of opens a little bit, and some of the coins go rolling away, and he goes forward and picks them up and puts them back in. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. I was just I'm somewhat new to the bar, and oh wow, you're very tall.
Can I invite him to join the group?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at one point, like, he kind of comes over and like he sits at the table, but he's a little low, like it's one of these, as he like sort of sits at the chair. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. Thistleby is the name. Where do you all hail from?
I mean, we're all from fairly close by.
Oh, good. Yes, me too. Yeah, you wanted are you mercenaries? Are you spoken for at the moment?
I wouldn't say mercenaries.
Definitely not.
No.
No. Do you perhaps do goods or go on a quest for pay?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, good. I have been sent here to procure a team of heroes. By actually, he will look about the group. He's a little nervous by you, and the guy with the sack over his head. So he's a little concerned.
Can I scope out the room to like investigate the whole, kind of see if I see anything?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
All right. No. Okay, this 14.
Okay, so it's not hard to miss that everyone in the bar is pretending to drink and eat and enjoy themselves, but everybody now has eyes on this guy. Don't know if it was like she got to him first, but when that sack of gold hit the ground and he just sat at the table, now people are just sort of anxious for you guys to stop talking to him.
I think it's best that we take this conversation outside.
Oh, yes, of course. It's a lovely night. I would love to join outside. It might give us a little more privacy, yes, to discuss matters. He was like, you've all been drinking, yes?
Yes.
No.
No, oh, all right. Allow me to buy a round of beverages for the table. And will reach into his pocket, and he'll look over at you, because you were the first person that was kind of friendly to him, and he'll take 10 gold pieces out and like go to put it on the table, as if to say, like, this is what poor people pay for drinks. This is the equivalent of like you guys each bought a beer at a bar, and somebody's like, $2,000? Is this fine?
Way too much.
And he puts it back, and then puts like 9 pieces.
Fabian will put a hand out.
Okay.
Take 1 gold piece, lay it on the table, and then put the rest back in his hand.
Oh. He'll look at the cups and just sort of stare at them and stare at the one gold piece and toddle out of the bar. And even then, the wolves are chomping at the bit. There are other people in this bar, some of different alignments, that as they see this interaction are even now so.
We really need to get out of here. This guy's flaunting.
Yeah, you guys go outside of the bar, and he's sort of standing against the door, just as like another sort of rough and tumble like orc is walking up, and he's like, "Hello," and walks past. So he's sitting outside of the bar.
So, where did you get all of this gold?
Oh, yes, I represent the king of Fairly, and he has a task, but he would like it handled somewhat discreetly, and so he sent me here with a lot of gold. Now that I'm now thinking was too much, but he does want the best, and I thought it might good to be prepared for the best.
How does he just trust you with this much gold?
I am his right hand man, as it were.
What is the king's name in Farley?
The king's name is Barty. Barty. King Barty is a very benevolent king. He's much beloved by the people of Fairly. The Kingdom of Fairly is not an overly rich place, but it's not poor either. The roads are well kept. He is fairly generous with his gold when it comes to helping out people. You know that there are farming projects, and the town never seems to run out. Like there's always just enough to sort of make ends meet, even in times of famine throughout the continent of wonder. Fairly always seems to get back on its feet. So when he says he's representing the king, it means a lot of this.
So he just sends you off with no protection, no guards, no. You literally drop a massive amount of coin.
Well, I have my own skill set. I'm not completely devoid of power. I tend to operate in sort of flashier, bigger. I can defend myself.
Fair. Thistleby, what is it that King Barty wanted from him?
Oh, he would like me to procure a set of adventurers. He's being stolen from. Precious artifacts, pieces of gold, beloved trinkets that once belonged to him. It doesn't matter how many guards are stationed outside of the treasure room. It doesn't matter how many magical wards are put into place. Regardless, every night or every few nights, something is being taken. And so he would like a group of people outside of the situation to suss things out.
Does he have any leads on who he thinks may want to steal from him?
Persuasion check right now.
Oh, done. You don't want me to do this?
Yeah.
15 plus 7, 22.
22. He looks at you and he's starting to warm up a little bit to the gruff exterior, and he goes, "Well, yes. I mean, one lead, but it seems rather odd. Clippings, odd leaves, and things of that sort have been found at the scene of most of the crimes, and they look very tiny, as if they were from a rose petal or a house plant. But we were beginning to think they were a calling card of sorts, but we haven't been able to find out any information about it." Please decide amongst yourselves, but time is of the essence. If you would like to, he is prepared to pay you handsomely, with gold and platinum.
Does the king have any enemies?
He like looks at you funny, and he goes, he's a king.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yes. So many. Anyone who would want to kill the king.
Right. So let me narrow it down. Is there one or two specific you can think of that may?
His brother is a bit jealous of him. I don't. he is next in line for the throne, but I don't know if he would ever stop drinking or carousing long enough to assume control.
Do I sure don't. Never mind. No, do I know anything about his brother?
Give me a history check. As, you guys
I'll
have
do
been,
it, yeah.
you guys have been in fairly long enough at this point, but
17 for me.
17.
That would be a 5.
You didn't even know the king had a brother.
We have a king?
What's a king?
We have elected officials.
What is that? Talsit, the king's brother, is known for being like the party boy. So while the king is ruling and stuff like that, like Talsit is next in line to the throne. But think, oh my God, what was his name from Umbrella Academy?
Oh.
Klaus.
Who's just constantly drinking and partying and like selling things for to pay off. Like every once in a while you'll find like a royal insignia or something being worn by someone, and you're like, oh God, but Talsit is known for being that sort of personality.
Do you know where he is right now, or where we may be able to find him?
Oh, are you taking the job? Is that what I'm afraid if we get into the nitty-gritty of the king's dirty laundry, that would be a sort of a deal or contract?
I'm always down for an adventure.
I like the gnome. I do it.
I like you too. Anyway, yes, he will pull out a official-looking contract and say, "This is your simple, non-talking about it thing. If you would all sign this, and just anything you happen to find amidst your travels, you do not turn into songs and sing about it." Does that make sense? Oh. Does the bag come off at all? Does he ever take the bag? No, he doesn't. I feel like the bag is staring at me, but I'm not quite sure. Yes, if anyone, if you would like to sign this, and then we can begin.
Can I read it?
Yeah, he hands you the paper.
Right.
Give me an investigation check
Yeah.
as you start like reading over this document that was.
I would
up
take
for
it when he's done with it.
Yeah,
The same.
both of you give me investigation checks then.
I got 11.
I think Seth is like, this is paper.
29 nat.
29 nat. It looks boilerplate, honestly. It looks just like a, hey, listen, we're gonna pay you an obscene amount of money, but if you talk about it, we're gonna cut off your head. Like, where it's just like, you just don't talk about the king. Anything you might find, any of the dirty laundry that is in the castle, like, don't talk about it.
I don't remember secrets long enough to keep them.
Yeah. So,
I'm
but
pretty stealthy. I can hide from.
he holds out the piece of paper.
I sign.
Yeah.
Everyone signs. There's a flurry as everyone signs the paper, and he goes, "Yes, right this way." And he'll wave his hand off to the side, and in front of the tavern, a horse-drawn carriage, which has been there the entire time. As he waves his hand, and the enchantment sort of falls to the side. There are also 4 very large, that look like Goliath, the big men, pushing taller than you, like 6.5 feet, 7 feet. All decked out in armor that are alongside the carriage, and you realize he wasn't necessarily alone. But as you all sign this piece of paper, the carriage door opens, and you are all ushered inside of it. You begin a long trek through the forest to a spanning castle. By the time you get there, it is late at night. I think you guys started drinking pretty. Some of you that were drinking, it was a little later in the day. As you get to the castle, it's somewhat late at night, and he makes a big show of things, of looking about and being like, "Oh, well, it is rather late. If you would like to stay in some guest quarters, I can introduce you to the king tomorrow." The castle is like I said, very spacious. It looks like it's separated into 4 parts, but each of these 4 areas, think of like a big square. And in the center square is this spacious garden. The garden has all of these, like a tree and this pond that grows there. And as he walks you past through the front doors of the keep and past this garden, he walks you through the area. And as you look about, you see exotic animals inside this garden. Fish that seem to shimmer in the moonlight. Some of the plants there are plants unlike anything you have ever seen in your entire life. As he walks you past them, and he turns back and looks as if to see you guys looking at them. He's showing off.
I'm gonna try to remember as many of these plants as possible on the way in.
Okay.
Try to take a good enough look that I can remember like the leaf patterns, the flowers.
As we're walking to, can I investigate like to see if I see any of the clippings or brush around that he was talking about earlier? Like, specifically for that?
I will say, yeah, go ahead and roll high. You haven't seen those clippings yet,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of greenery around the area.
So yeah. All right.
Okay,
That
so
makes
it's
sense.
gonna be tough.
It's not gonna be that good. 14.
It's just it's too
Yeah.
few details to go off of.
Yeah.
As he leads you through, he actually has a block of rooms situated. You can't remember the last time all 6 of you got your own room, but he sort of points to a block on the far south side of the castle grounds. It says, "These are your rooms. Please disperse yourselves as you see fit, and we will see you in the morning with food prepared. If anyone asks, please say something along the lines of, 'You are ambassadors,' or 'here on official court business.'"
Do you guys get a lot of bats or anything?
I occasionally, yes.
Okay. Just curious.
All right.
I like bats.
That's great. Does anyone else have any questions before you retire?
Will you be there in the morning with food?
Yes, I will. Is there anything you would like special I can have it prepared and delivered?
No, but your seat next to me.
Pastries or something on. Yes, right. All right. In the morning, and he will make his way away. Are we staying in separate rooms?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So like as soon as he walks away, I'm just gonna like find whatever the like farthest room down the hall is and just walk to my room. And
Great.
just be like, "This is mine."
Hey, before we disperse, I can scope out the place as a bat. They won't. I mean, he said sometimes they get bats. So if you want, I can check out the place a little bit, see if I see anything. I won't like go in rooms or anything, but I can just kind of, if you guys are okay with it. If you're not okay with it, I won't do it because whatever. But
Are there any people around us, like guards or anything?
Give me perception checks if you're looking about to see who's watching you.
19 plus 4.
19 plus 4.
19.
So you're
20.
You're at 20.
11. 19.
Mike.
No, 16. Sorry.
Mike 23. Everybody's sort of looking about through the space and trying to figure out if anybody's watching, and you don't really notice anything. However, your eyes dart over to a far corner, and you hear this soft, sort of like pad of feet. And as you poke your head around the side and sort of break away from the group a little bit, you see a small, like, black cat that's kind of curled up with one of the plant that just seems to be walking about in the space.
Alright, I'm pretty big, so I'm gonna head back to the group. And I'm gonna tell Batman what I saw.
Bats, there's a cat woman.
I knew Selena was here.
Damn it, Selena. There's and as she points it out, Seth points it out, there's obviously a cat just down the hallway from you guys. But that's the only sign of life that you notice.
So, are we like in like a second floor or like?
You're in the second.
We're
You're
on
on the second floor.
Did we walk through like the main hall and everything when we were taking
Yeah,
the tour? Or no?
so when I say 4-part building, I mean it like this. So you've got this building like this, but the castle is of an odd design, where you've got like the castle itself with all the rooms and sort of finery and stuff like that, and it's a lot larger than this. It's probably more like that.
Yeah.
But in this center area is this garden that you guys walk through. So when you walked through the front doors, he took you to this main hall. Then you walked through the garden to the opposite end, and he went up to the second floor and are in this grouping of rooms right there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm willing to, I mean, if you guys are okay with it, go back out to the garden and just kind of scope it out from a higher vantage point. See if I see something or hear something. I'm a bat. I got supersonic hearing.
I didn't see anybody else here.
I know. Doesn't that freak you out? This place is big.
It's also very late, but please.
Well, I mean, I'm a bat. So.
I meant that's why they're red.
Does this cat appear to be watching us very intently?
I mean,
He kind of was just like, there's a cat down the hall.
Yeah.
But it's down the hall, right?
He kind of like said there was a cat down the hall. I'm just wondering what the cat's watching us. If the cat cares.
Sure. Give me insight, buddy.
13.
I'll take insight or nature if nature's higher.
It is definitely not.
Okay. Buddy, I can't believe I have to tell you this. It's so hard to tell if a cat is interested in something or just being a cat. Like, because cats in general are just like...
Yeah, cats.
No, I get it.
But the
I was
cat,
hoping
the
for like a
cat's not,
19.
the cat's not like staring at you guys and being like Mondays, am I right? Like he's not directing attention directly at you, but it hasn't left the area. It's sort of purring and moving alongside the potted plants along the hall. It's
all right, so I have
licking
a
its
second
paws. It's
So I'm going to walk over to the cat
okay.
and see if it will let me pick it up.
It starts like sort of like purring against your hand. Give me an animal handling check.
No.
It's like purring against your hand, and the minute you like bring two hands down, like in true cat fashion, it like bites your hand a little bit,
Okay.
and then sort of moves off, and then lays on its back, tempting you to like pet it again.
I do.
Yeah, it swipes out at you with a claw. Like that.
That's a good
She
point.
couldn't resist the
Are you
cat
being
charm.
obvious about this?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna reach out to the cat telepathically with my tentacle magic and ask it if it's just hanging out or if it's watching us.
Can you speak cat?
I can communicate telepathically with any beast, elemental, aberration, or monstrosity that has an innate swimming speed. Never mind. It does not have an innate swimming speed. I need to
Cats
read
swim
things.
It's got the opposite.
Never mind.
You dump it in water to see how it reacts, and it goes poorly. It goes so poorly.
Nope, can't talk to him.
Sure, yeah.
Got it.
So I think what I'm gonna do, I'll transform into a bat and kind of keep watch
Sorry.
over everybody. Is that cool? And you guys can get some sleep.
So if you
I don't sleep.
if you don't go to sleep, even though you're a bat, like if you don't go to sleep, you're still gonna be exhausted in the morning when you wake up. Which means any skill checks you make, anything that's not attack based or anything, you're gonna have to roll at disadvantage.
The really
You're
exciting
busting my.
I feel like
The
we're
really
pretty
exciting thing about
safe.
this is, since we've been traveling for a while, you know that I don't sleep.
Yeah.
So you don't have to make that offer because
But you can scope out the place. I would let you have
Immensely.
like 2 or 3 hours of like before you need to conk out hard.
Okay, I'm done with that. If you
Okay.
guys are done with that.
Fabian is gonna have to. And we've talked about the no stealing.
Maybe.
We've talked about the no stealing.
I'll be a bat. I can't. It's not like I can grab.
You have found ways before.
You still have claws.
They're like tiny.
Eric creating a character that chastises people for stealing. If you guys
I'm
watch him in his
multifaceted.
other campaign, he steals everything. Oh my god, this brings me no amount of joy.
If you would like, and you promise not to steal anything, I can grant you protection while you're gone.
Okay, hold on a second.
What are you playing on?
I have protection from good and evil.
Cool, how long does that last?
A while?
That's great. Use your big boy
10
words.
10 minutes.
Okay, good. 10
Never
minutes.
mind. I can protect you for 10 minutes.
Alright, so I got 10 minutes of scoping.
Everybody else, goes to rest for the evening.
I'm going to the closest room. I got drinks. I'm done.
Yeah, girl. There's a like, yeah, bed, and the bed goes like creaks a little bit. So are you staying in your room? Or yes.
That answered that.
There's echoes that ring throughout the hall of this snoring that happens. Where are you going?
I'm just gonna sit up against my door.
Okay, cool.
Or a door that I can see the rest of their rooms.
Stitch is a little bit apprehensive. He's gonna go back out to the garden if he can.
Okay.
And look at those animals just a little bit more, tire himself out a bit, and then.
Sure. We'll get to that in a second. What about you?
I would watch him as long as I could to make sure he wasn't stealing, but like not not getting away.
I think there's a little balcony that would overlook the sky.
Okay, but eventually I would go to sleep.
Yeah.
Did you want that protection for 10 minutes or?
No,
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
I don't know.
What about Nina?
So I go in my room.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can get the cat to follow me.
Okay. Give me another animal handling check. Normally I don't allow 2, but they're cats, so their mood changes.
19.
Yeah, I think you open your door and don't do anything.
And the cat's just.
And the cat just wanders in and
Okay.
sort of like even as you like lay in the bed, you're like, cool, this is cool, and the cat will jump up on the bed and like curl up at like under the covers at one point, like.
Okay. Good. And then, since I'm an elf, I don't need the full 8 hours, so my plan is to sleep for 4 hours and then just kind of hang out on
Meditate.
the balcony. And, yeah.
Okay.
But I make sure I close the door behind me so the cat is stuck in my room.
Okay. We can deal with this. We can do this. All right. What are you looking for?
So as a bat, I can hear stuff, right? Like that's the concept, or
Absolutely. What are the stats for your
You hear
bat? Do you
nothing.
notice?
You're the deaf bat.
I wonder if I would disrupt his echolocation.
There's danger. Let's look at the bat. Bat, you have blind sight, so you can actually see in the dark. You don't need light to do that. Echolocation, a bat can't hear. While it can't hear, the bat has no blind sight. You have advantage on perception checks that rely on hearing.
Okay.
So it's almost like you're trying to listen around. What are you trying to listen for?
Specifically, because I want to find people. So like I'm listening for footsteps or chatter, like something that echoes of a person.
Perception check, please.
Okay. 15.
Did you take it at advantage because you're a bat? You're
Oh, no.
listening.
Ooh. 18, 19, 20, 20.
Okay. 20. Okay.
Before I transform, in our reality, Batman doesn't exist. So I do say this every time I transform. I'm Batman.
You're flying over the garden. You're looking for any sort of movement. Alongside the roof, there are a contingency of guards. They watch and they sort of take notice of the grounds. It's an increased guard presence. It's almost something that you would expect in wartime. But the knowledge that the king is being stolen from on a nightly basis could explain why there's so many sort of walking up top. However, they aren't talking. You do catch a couple of voices that come from the garden. The voices are far away because you're sort of flying above.
Mm-hmm.
You catch a few words in the conversation. The words are home, enough, why more, sky, and then you hear a very audible, like, someone's coming. It takes you a second, and then you watch as Stitches walks out the door and those voices stop. And Stitches just begins to move about the ground, the bag still firmly affixed, but just sort of looking at the animals and looking at some of the different fish and the wildlife in the area. Stitches, how long do you stay out there?
Probably no more than 2 hours, long enough to get a song out, do a little bit of looking at the animals, and just.
You looking for anything in particular?
Well, he's not used to seeing all the animals, so that just like takes his attention completely.
Give me percentile dice then. You're just kind of seeing what's going to happen here. You're out there doing this mostly for yourself. You're not looking or expecting anything in return.
66.
Okay. The animals are weird, Stitch. I don't know where you're from, but like I said, like you're noticing this dog like creature that seems to be made up of shadow. Like the dog will like take a step forward, and then as it does, it's like shadow goes past it, and then the dog catches up to it, and then like it continues to move about the space like that. As you begin to sing, a lot of the plants will change color. Okay. And respond almost to your voice as it's singing. You notice odd fruits and bits of berry like that don't look native to Wonder at all.
Okay.
The continent of Wonder.
Further question, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are there any particular flowers or fruit that would stand out to me, like vibrant in colors or anything?
Sure.
Like that?
There is a bright pink.
Okay.
That seems to be responding to your song extremely well.
Okay.
This bright pink flower pulses, and as it pulses, this little wave of light moves from the very bottom, the base of the flower, throughout the flower, and it opens, almost as if like a voice, like a mouth is opening and reciprocating with song.
Okay. I would reach out and try to caress it.
Okay. You know what? Give me a nature check.
Nature check. That is a 9.
You reach out towards the flower and you're like, "Oh, hey, buddy, how's it?" And the flower head, like, comes off in your hand.
Okay. Oh God. That's kind of what he wanted, because then he's just gonna take it and.
It hardens.
Oh, it hardens. Okay.
Like as it hardens, like this flower head, the flower petals like curve inward, and it just begins to harden, like in your hand. It's not heavy, but you see it forming something with substance, and it looks more like a fruit. Like whatever was in the bottom has now been pushed upwards, and now you're holding on to like a flower that's closed around the bulb, and now you're holding something substantial like a apple or a grapefruit.
Who's stealing now?
You hear
You hear a
almost
bat
hear
squeaking.
a bat above your head that's like.
Okay, I'm gonna be thrown off by that just a little bit, because the noise is just gonna scare me.
Yeah.
And then nuts. Okay, so yeah, I'm still gonna pocket the flower fruit.
Okay.
And hold that, and yeah, and then I think I'm just gonna.
All right, time context. While he's doing this, can I understand where that sound came from, or is it already coming past?
With him singing,
it throws me off.
It's
I
gonna
understand.
and him just walking about the space, like you look for those voices again, and they're just not there.
Yeah, I'm cutting off that bag.
All right. You go to rest for the evening.
Yes.
I think after a while, and he also goes to rest for the evening. You lean up against your door all night long. Give me a perception check.
5.
You don't notice anything. You're just leaning against the wall. Everything's great. You're in the castle. Why would anything go wrong? After hour 4, you
Go hang out on the balcony, just kind of
watch.
keep an eye. Yeah.
Okay, cool. You give me a perception check.
12.
Okay. It's a fairly uneventful night. Nothing really happens. After a while, everyone wakes up.
Did you see a bat?
And
I was just wondering if I saw anything when I was on the balcony.
Looking out the
For the
balcony?
first part?
Give me a perception check.
I did not.
Everyone wakes up in the morning with soft knockings at your door. Your door is the first one to be knocked upon. You'll notice that.
How do you know my room?
Huh?
How do you know my room?
It's a great question.
I told him.
The little gnome looks. If he was looking opulent before, he's looking positively dapper this morning. As he is at the door, he's got a fresh flower in his lapel. He's wearing a hat that adds a couple of inches to his height. The little top hat, and he goes, breakfast is being served in the dining room.
Yes, pastry time. I'm gonna wipe something off my tooth, brush up my hair. I'm ready to go.
And he will knock on everyone's door subsequently. The balcony of your room.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear that soft knocking at the door, do you go back in?
Yeah.
As you pass your bed, there is a large lump at the very bottom under the covers.
I pull the covers off to see.
There is a very sleepy naked man at the bottom of your bed.
I just put the covers back over and then go answer the door.
Okay. Yeah, you hear well, it is time to go to the to breakfast if you would like to meet with the king.
Okay. By the way, and I kind of like point at the bed. You may want to take care of that.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. He knows better. Excuse me, just 1 second, and he will toddle over and rip the covers off. And as he rips the covers off, there is a very loud burp from the bed as he takes a pillow and just smacks. And this person sort of gets up groggily. Hello, yes. Said, your brother is expecting you downstairs for breakfast. Please go put on some pants and put away your penis. And he will get up and stretch, do one of those like cat art batches, like no sort of modesty, and sort of smile at you. And it's like, thank you for petting me last night. It was very enjoyable.
I'm sure it was.
And he will walk out of the room. You all are starting to rouse, and you see a naked man come out of Nina's room and just sort of smile at each of you and say, good morning.
Sup, naked guy? Nina, who's that?
Did you have a fun night?
That would be the king's brother.
She likes to call me Kitty. And he will walk past everyone down the hallway and make his way for parts unknown.
That was disturbing.
You should be used to strange things by now. Like, I don't explain to any of
No,
them.
no.
Just kinda-
Everybody's waiting for it, like, so. You keep quiet. Everyone gets dressed, armors up, grabs magical items, and makes their way downstairs for breakfast. The naked man is somewhat clothed. He's wearing a robe that's barely tightened. Like, it's like if he uncrosses his leg, it's gonna. This is the Ron Burgundy. Like, don't act like you're not impressed. Like, it's open. The king is seated. There are two of the same guards that you noticed from the night before behind his chair. And as you enter the room, the king of Fairly stands up and gives you a bit of respect, which for some of you might be a bit jarring, as he stands up from his seat and bows to each and every one of you and gestures to the table as you have the ear of the king for a bit. So, I have been told that you are here to find out who's been stealing from me.
Yes.
I'm beyond appreciative. You're doing a great service to me. I've lost a fair amount of sleep because of it. I am afraid to let go of things precious to me, and I have guards running about this way and that, from one end of the group to the other, and I don't know what to do. I'm at my wit's end. It always seems to happen at night. In fact, there was a burglary of sorts last night that an entire suit of armor was taken from the main area, the entranceway.
This was last night.
This was last night. Decorative armor. I had so many guards patrolling the grounds that I must have left an open spot.
Fabian will immediately turn and look.
Wasn't me.
Be hard to
Ask,
smuggle that with as a bat.
Ask Bag Boy over there what he stole.
The king will turn his head to the side, and the two guards standing there will sort of stand at attention. And I will assume that you are a bag boy?
I suppose.
Did you take something from me last night?
Only what was given to me by a plant. And I'll take out the fruit and offer it to him.
He gets giddy. The stoic demeanor of the king immediately changes, and he de-ages like 15 years. It's almost like when you get somebody who's a bit of a curmudgeon, but you start talking about something that really interests them, like a hobby or something like that, and he just immediately turns into a little kid again. He says, "Oh, that's wonderful. The plant accepted you. Well, when did it grant you this? What was the moon like when it did? Was it a full moon? Were there other people around you? What did you say to it? Did it say anything back?"
So,
You were singing.
I gave it my voice.
Singing! I knew it! Ah, plants. Some plants respond very well to music. I've always. I've never been very good at music and things of that sort. So, bully for you. Yes, of course. It is a gift, freely given. Please hold on to it.
What does it do?
I have no idea.
You are very excited for something that you don't know what it does.
I'm a bit of a botanist. I have offered a bounty here in the Kingdom of Fairly for any strange and unusual plants that one may find, no matter where they come from. I find it a bit of a game to study them and figure out what they may do. So that garden that you see out there is all species that have been magically enhanced to grow there, and I'm still discovering things. I have been poisoned 18 times. I lost an arm. It grew back. I am just fascinated.
Are you a lizard?
No, magic.
Oh.
Dear boy, magic.
What race is he?
He looks human. His hair's very long and curly, and so he's definitely got very fine features. So he might be half elf in nature, but when he smiles, these elven features stand out a little bit more. Anytime he's talking about plants or botany, his eyes tend to alight.
So, last night you said there was thievery, and that
yes,
some armor was taken.
Yes.
Did you find cuttings nearby?
Let me explain, because last night I just wanted to kind of visually see a little bit more than what your friend showed us, and I can turn into a bat, kind of like how you can lizard your arm.
Are you? But you're a man.
Yes, I'm a Batman.
A Batman?
Yes.
Curious.
Anyways, thank
so
you.
while this is happening, my character just like kind of rolls her eyes and just the loudest sigh as he's like,
I would love to see it. You're either a Batman or a bit of a Joker.
Well, I kind of wish I could do the lizard thing you do, but anyways, last night everyone's throwing me off. Last night while I was doing bad things, a bagman threw off my investigation. I heard people rummaging through your garden. They said a few words. I'm gonna say them to you. See if anything sticks out to you.
All right.
Sky. Enough.
It's in character.
Why are you laughing? Boom.
Okay.
Or why more?
He looks a little concerned, but nothing.
Another question.
He says, I don't think any of these things stand out to me.
Maybe you
One
should
more
say it
thing.
faster. Like a sentence.
Okay.
Maybe it'll make more sense.
Okay, you're smart. I like that. Home enough. Why more sky?
He grabs his mug and takes a sip of his drink and shakes his head. No,
That wasn't the best.
I don't recall.
So, Bagman messed me up because I could have found out more, but your singing scared them off. They were talking, and then you came out lullabying plants.
I got distracted by a shadow dog and colors, and I forgot bats here with their.
That's Rufus. The dog. That's what I've named him.
Can I pet him?
Oh yes, absolutely. If he'll allow you to. Well, if you've heard voices in the garden, that's more than any of my guards have been able to do. I could hide you, work a subtle enchantment this evening, if in case the voices come back. You would have to remain somewhat still, but...
Yeah, no singing.
No promises.
Do you have a prison we can put him in with some plants?
Guys. Not in front of the king.
The king's brother like snorts into whatever sort of food that he's eating, and a little comes out of his nose, and he just sort of wipes it. He's like, I like them. We must keep them on retainer.
So
I just kind of like look over and glare at him.
Yeah.
So one more thing I gotta ask, and I find it kind of weird. Why do your guards not talk?
Well, they can. They just, they're able to communicate in different ways.
What?
These gods are Kalashtar. They make the best gods, honestly, because they communicate telepathically. So a burglar are able to send information to one another. Plus, they are connected to some otherworldly being from a different place. I'm able to pay them remarkably well.
So your side man told us about some brush or clippings that the thieves left behind.
Yes,
Can we see them?
he will wipe his chin and I go, I have business to attend to, but please make your way to the main hall and you will find yourselves in the area where the armor was taken. And as he stands up, the guards in turn sort of stand at attention and escort him out of the room. His brother will sort of stand up, look at all of you, and walk out as well. It is a short jaunt to the main area. Sure enough, there is a line of 6 suits of armor, each one that seems to be sort of polished and very finely crafted, except for the one on the far right at the very end. There is no armor there. As you begin to look around, give me investigation checks. People that are examining the area, trying to find information.
Nat 20.
Nat 20 from the barbarian.
20 not nat.
20 not nat.
18.
18, 19.
Nat 1.
Nat 1, 19.
Oh no.
Nat 20.
Everyone's doing so well.
So Stitches is still like, man, I can't believe I got called out for stealing. So his head is just not in the game. Everybody else rolled obscenely high for an investigation check. And as you do in fact find these clippings. They're exactly what he said. These small green leaves. And I say small, I mean small even in relative size to each and every one here. It's almost the size of like a tiny bit bigger than a blade of grass, but it looks firm. Like it almost looks like cylindrical in size, but they're very small. And I think with those high investigation checks, you see a small path of them going outside, leading outside. These leaves that tend to lead from this suit of armor all the way to back outside to where the garden was.
Is this like, are they like, because he was saying when we first met him that they might be a calling card. Are they like set up a certain way, like in a pattern or anything, or are they just like?
You know what? I think it's possible because they're leading outside. Give me an insight check. I want to say give it an advantage, Batman, because you're used to criminals and their calling cards, but that's not.
I don't know.
I would assist.
18.
18. That's high enough. It doesn't look. They're not arranged. It's not like they're arranged in an altar or a symbol or anything like that. It looks as if they're just leading outside, so it's hard to determine if they're a calling card of sorts.
You want to follow this?
Yeah.
So you want to follow this?
Follow what?
Your friends, they're all
Just
on the
follow the
ground.
Batman.
Stitches has wandered down the hallway at this point with that nat 1 and being like, I think I found, no, that's the bathroom.
I'm just
like
gonna
that.
walk down the hallway and just kind of like tap him on the shoulder and point like this way.
You find yourselves outside in the garden. Some of the animals that were there last night are not there tonight. Some of the plants that were opened last night and responding to a bit of the music are not responding this evening. They look closed, but there's all new sights and sounds. It's more of spring colors and things of that sort when it comes to the different areas that are alight and sort of fluttering with activity. You notice there's a few more hummingbirds and birds in the area than there were last night. These green leaves mesh into the sand so easily, or mesh into the dirt and things so easily that it's hard to track them once you get to a certain point. But it does lead you to a small corner of the garden. This small corner of the garden has lots of wild flowers, different colors, that are all growing in this small patch of dirt.
You want to see if there's anything under the flowers? Maybe it's like a, one of those like drainage system things. Or
Do
like
you
a
really,
manhole cover, whatever.
do you really want to dig up the king's flowers?
Do you really want to? Yes.
Why don't we just make the Bagman sing again?
Yeah.
Sing, Bagman, please.
Rather than singing, I'm going to get my fingers into the rings of strings that are coming down from my bag, and I'll start trying to play a few notes.
Okay. What?
In a melodic.
Okay. You start playing. How about this? The plants in the area, all of them, start responding to this melody with a gentle sway, almost as if they're trying to match the rhythm as the strings on the bag are pulled down and he plucks and plays them. They all start to sway in time with this music, almost as if they're dancing along with it, except for the wild flowers in front of you. Those do not move, they do not sway in time with the music. But all the other plants within the vicinity of where Stitches is sway and begin to move.
I want to investigate the flowers specifically. All right.
As well.
Here,
Well,
well,
yeah.
I'll give you advantage.
Whichever.
Okay, so give me an investigation check. Add advantage because Batman is helping.
Like 14.
I think the minute you plunge your hands in to start digging, the illusionary facade of the wildflowers cuts away.
I knew it.
In its place is dirt around a small circular opening about this big.
Manhole cover. That's not a
For
man
a
size.
very tiny man.
It looks about the size of a bat. In you go.
Well, I transform into it. Well, wait. Can you do that protection thing on me? No? You're not feeling it?
Hang on, before he does that, you remember a vital thing about becoming Batman.
Oh, I can only do it once a day.
No.
Oh, at night. That's right. It's gonna be at
Batman
night.
comes
That's right.
out
I
at
forgot
night.
about that. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the,
good
freaks,
call.
the freaks come out at night.
Yeah.
So does Batman. So you guys realize that in
Yeah.
order for him to get into this tiny spot,
It's gonna be at night.
yeah.
Does anyone else have a way down?
You want to throw the Catman down?
Who do you say this out loud?
Yeah, let's say it out loud.
You feel a slight rumble coming from your bag. Stitches.
Okay, I'll.
The bag on his head or the one on his hip?
The circular fruit
Yeah, I'll pull it out.
is as you bring it forward, it opens again, almost like a flower. Each tiny, each petal opening up to this green fruit on the inside that seems to hum as if it's responding to Fabian's question.
So it's only humming and vibrating. It's not showing like movement of like it's not like living.
No.
Okay, so I'll take a bite out of it.
Yeah, Stitches takes a bite and pops the fruit into his mouth. Do you take the bag off to do that?
No, I
Under the bag.
lift it and then I bite underneath it.
Because you kept the bag on and you eat the fruit, the bag begins to shrink with you. And you shrink down to a size that would allow you to traverse about the size of this particular opening. You grow to be about 6 inches tall.
Okay.
Shrinking down in size. Anything you are holding with you, scaling in approximate size.
Were you still holding the fruit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he holds up the tiny piece of fruit to everyone, but they're really, it's littles. You're gonna have to gummy fruit snacks this. Like, you're gonna have to.
That's a little bag, man.
Well, at least he's useful during the day.
Oh, shrink. You guys make your way over to the small opening. As you do, there is a green tendril that is like growing out of this small pipe.
Smart ass man, let's climb down.
I feel like this is the beginning of
I'm gonna jump to the
really
tendril,
great
climb down.
folktale.
You're gonna start climbing down?
Yeah.
Give me an athletics check as you begin to climb down the beanstalk.
I am proficient in athletics. Oh no. It's only 11.
11. You jump on. You're like, I think I'm gonna climb. Whoa! Like, you try to hold on, but it's kind of slick with like morning dew, and you more like slide. And as you slide through, you're pushing apart leaves and stuff like that as you go. But it turns into this like, and your butt sort of hits the ground eventually.
That was perfect.
Can you see down there?
Can I see down there?
Do you have dark vision?
Yeah.
Okay. You are able to see this small passageway leading off, almost like a pipe in the ground as it leads off in a direction, and it gets a little darker the more you're away from the opening.
Okay. Yeah, I can see. There's like a little tunnel.
Does it look safe?
Define safe.
Do you see anything that might attack you?
Nah, it's just dark.
I'll come down.
That sounds safe.
All right. Yeah, you head down. As you see the same thing. You see the same thing as everyone that subsequently climbs down stuff is able to sort of like catch and like direct, like put your feet there and help you climb down.
Does anyone else not have dark vision? Okay.
I'm gonna cast Dancing Lights as soon as I land and go, this sucks.
I don't need to
This sucks.
You hear Mark, it's like, it's way too dark in here, and these little dancing globules of light appear in the space.
Sick.
Daylight
I'm
myself.
excited.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Mine's a cantrip.
Okay, that's fine.
I was gonna use it otherwise if anyone needed it.
It is a long passageway. What are we doing?
Oof. Can I look and see if I see any of the brush or anything still kind of leading the trail?
You don't find any that's regularly sized, but as you look up at the leaves, you notice that the leaves that lead up from this look like they could be just there but bigger.
I'm gonna go ahead and use my Divine Sense.
Okay.
To detect anything good or evil within a 60-foot radius.
Okay.
Celestial, fiend, or undead.
You're looking for celestial, fiend, and undead, not good or evil. You do not find anything celestial
or affected by the hollow spell.
Yes. You do not sense any of those things.
Okay.
Close to where you are.
Got it.
So we start walking down this long hallway. What's my marching order? Who's going first? First? Who's second? Second. Third.
I'm gonna go last if I
You're
can.
gonna go last if you can.
Well,
I'll go
then
fourth.
I guess I'm not going last.
I mean, I was gonna take the fear. so I can
1,
attack
2,
it, but-
3, 4, 5, 6.
Sure.
Okay. 1, 2, and 3. As you begin making your way down this dark tunnel, go ahead and give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
13.
You're a 3. 13.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch.
I rolled no.
You
So
rolled
that's a 1.
no.
She rolled a not
I
happening.
rolled an 8.
An 8. All right. There is
This 20
a
is grounded, but
twang
one second, no.
as your
Oh, wait. Were any of you within 10 feet of me?
3 was within 10.
I have aura of protection, so you get a +4. But
Does
you
that
still got an
help
out
your no?
one, so.
Nope. That doesn't.
Well, I
there,
tried.
there is a twang as
Aren't you in the middle?
Seth, you're like, hey, that's funny. I think there was this like, and as your foot kicks over this small rope, a gout of fire erupts from the sides of the tunnel as something clicks into place, and you 3 take. Oh, it's not that bad. You take 6 points of fire damage as a gout of flame erupts from the sides, setting you all ablaze. You 3 manage to not get caught in the blast radius of this, but the 3 of you do.
Immediately following that, I'm just gonna sigh really deeply and cast Mage Armor.
Okay. Spectral tentacles seem to affix themselves to Mark's body.
Spectral tentacle.
Would anyone like me to help? And I'll just raise my glowing hands to do lay on hands.
I'm good.
Cool. Are we keeping this order? As you make your way,
I will step into third place.
as you make your way further and further into this dark tunnel, you come across a door that looks like it was crudely constructed. This door has an arm bar that sort of blocks it, and a lock in place holding the arm bar in place.
First, I'd like to investigate the door, see if there's any traps.
You're gonna check for traps.
Yeah.
That's a smart move.
I might check for
Give me an
traps.
investigation check as you start looking around and
14.
checking for traps.
Things you can see.
Yeah, you know
Oh,
what? Batman gets real up close and personal with this door, and as he's looking around with it, he takes his thieves' tools out and he looks, and you see there's not a trap on the lock itself, but that one of the hinges is rigged up so that when the door swings open, it swings with such force that anybody that's close to it is going to take the brunt of this to the face.
Okay.
So give me another roll to see if you can defuse this trap for me, please. If you're proficient in thieves' tools, you're going to roll a d20, add your dex, and add your proficiency.
Okay. Oh god. What did he say? 5 plus dex. So, and then what was the last one?
Proficiency for thieves' tools.
What would that be?
You guys watch as Batman starts sweating a little bit.
I'm gonna take a step closer to him so he's within my aura.
I'm gonna take a step back.
You stick together because opposites attract, and Malcolm begins to work on the door. What'd you get, Malcolm?
I don't think I have it actually. Now that I think about it. I don't
Alright,
think
so
I
it's
have
just
it.
5 plus dex.
5 plus 8. Anyone want to give me a beer?
I mean, I'm
Nobody can help you.
standing near you, but
Yeah.
8.
You're doomed.
You take your tools, and the trap is such that you know it's there, but as you start to bring your tools up, it's very finely crafted, and you just can't seem to figure out a way to circumnavigate it. So I will allow this. You know that the trap is going to be set off by the first person who tries to open this door.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't open this door.
Can open from afar.
That's probably smarter than anything else.
So I'm gonna.
Wait. We all back up first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone
yeah,
back up.
gotcha.
Everyone back up.
Okay.
And
Everyone
then
move back.
I'm gonna pull a
Batman
string out,
through the way.
pluck, and use Mage Hand.
Your hand moves forward, and as it does, it lifts, it tries to open the lock, and as it it gets close to the lock and the lock lifts up a little bit, the door itself, slam, like slams against the wall with such force that it leaves an indentation in the dirt. And as it does that, it stays open for a few seconds and then closes again.
I'm gonna look around the room for anything heavy.
Your eyes immediately dart to Suff.
Oh, my face.
If we get it
As
open.
Fabian looks at you, you like nod and then look behind you to see what he's looking at. You're trying to figure out.
Saunders, what were you gonna say first?
If we can open the door, do you think you could hold it open long enough for us to get through?
Yeah.
So Seth,
So
you
open
poise
it.
yourself, like ready, 3, 2, 1. He opens the door and you just go, ugh, like shove your hand forward to see if you can smack it up against the wall. Just for fun, give me a dex check here. Roll a d20, add your dex to it, just to see if you can
Dex. Why not strength? 12.
Because
Oh no,
She
that's a 15.
and she's within 10 feet of me.
Yep.
Is that a save?
Nope.
Got
Just a
it.
check.
Never mind.
But yeah, you very
It's a
easily.
15.
You're like, I'm ready. I'm so stoked. The door opens and you go, ah! And as you do, you just break the door off its hinges. Like, and the door, you keep holding it against the wall and like look at the rest of the group like.
I have good intelligence.
I know
I'm
you
not completely
do.
dumb.
I know you do. But as you've broken this door off
I
and
did
are
it.
holding against the wall, like.
I'm never arm wrestling you.
Do you keep your hand up? It's broken off the hinges.
Nah, I'm good. Can I push it down? Or
Like,
Okay.
lay it
I don't know if I
down.
trust the door. That's scary.
Well,
I'm gonna hold it.
It's
I'm scared of the
disengaged
door.
from the trap. You
I'm
roll.
scared of the door.
She holds the door. Everybody walks through.
Yeah.
Everyone's walked through.
I'm gonna go.
Okay. As you let go, the door tumbles to the ground.
Cool.
You walk through the door, and then it slams back into place.
I was right to be scared of the door.
You solved my door puzzle.
What was that?
By breaking it off of the hinges.
Whatever works.
Okay, voice in the
It's
darkness.
still a soul. No, there's light.
Voice behind the light of the darkness.
Gonna take a good look at the corridor we're now in.
The corridor you're now in is a small hallway. This hallway leads you into a wide antechamber. And inside this antechamber is a treasure trove of things. You see a suit of armor. You see enough gold and platinum here to feed and clothe and house a small army. You find hats and magical amulets, swords that seem to glimmer with arcane energy. You find lots of different things that are scattered about this space in a haphazard manner. This is not somebody that is taking care of the equipment that was found. This is somebody that was like, throw this here for the time being.
Can I investigate the walls, see if there's any other doors or window, or not doors or
You
passageways?
start looking around the area, and there is one door at the end of this area. No sign of any other life. This door is a black metal that looks like it's affixed to this door, and it is covered to the hilt with arcane symbols.
After recent events, I'm gonna pick Stitches up by the nape of the neck and carry him with me to make sure he doesn't steal anything.
Okay.
And follow him over to the door.
And then he's gonna reach towards the hats. If any of them look like sacks that could be pulled over his head, he's gonna reach towards those as he's being
grabbed.
Yeah.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. 19.
Yeah, he manages to grab one of the sacks as you're pulling. What's your passive perception?
9.
It's less a hat and more like this bag, but or less like the sack that you wear over your head. But it's more this really pretty ornate bag that look this shimmery sky blue. But you look like, oh, I can put my head in there. I just got to carve in little holes and stuff like that. And you grab this sack, and you have it with you. Yeah.
Can I check the door for like actual traps, not like the arcane traps, but like
Sure,
physical traps?
Give me a investigation check. Once again, this door is a dark black metal, and there's a bunch of arcane symbols that seem to shimmer and glow.
12.
Okay.
That's for physical traps. That's not for.
You take a look at the door. Not only are there no traps on this, but you don't know how it opens. Like there's no doorknob, there's no handle, there's nothing along those lines, except for these symbols that are carved into the black metal.
Do they look like just arcane symbols, or do they look like they could be writing?
They look like they could be writing.
Cool. What do they say? With Eyes of the Roomkeeper, I can read all writing.
Okay. You watch as Mark does a big and it shuffles through the rest of the group and looks at the wall. And as you look at the wall, you read in an ancient language, the invite was given, the seeds were planted, we now have access, your wish is granted.
I'm going to let y'all know that's what it says.
I say that to the door.
Okay. The door seems to appear more door-like, even in appearance. Like, but it was a solid, yeah, it's a solid choice. Yeah.
I just wish the door would open.
Okay. What do you say that out loud?
No, I literally am just looking at it. I'm like, I just wish the door would open.
Yeah. Door doesn't necessarily open.
What does it say?
Should arm wrestle it again.
The seeds have been planted, you know, and it talks about how the seeds were planted and your wish is granted.
What do you guys think?
Does anyone have any ideas?
Is anyone proficient I mean, that's a weird saying in this character. Is anyone proficient in arcane?
I mean, I can give it a shot.
You want to give me an Arcana check?
Sure.
Give you advantage.
16.
Fabian starts to study the writing on the door and notices that there's a shimmering glow to it. But Fabian, you spend a little bit of time just looking for it, looking for any sort of pattern. And as the more time you spend looking at it, you notice one of the letters stop lighting up. And it's an odd, like, huh, that's weird. And as more time passes and the day begins to wane, another letter stops, and it's almost like a timed thing where just after a little bit of time, another letter stops being lit up.
I'll relay that to them. It appears that as time passes, less of the arcane sigils are lit.
Intelligence checks about the table. Just a d20 and add your
14.
19.
9.
17.
7.
Anybody that got above a 15, you notice that you remember that the robberies all took place in the evening, and that there might be something linked to that, to the door opening.
If we had waited until night, the door would probably be already open.
Makes
So
sense.
I think we have some time to kill.
Do we have more fruit to eat if the night comes?
Valuable question you've asked. Do we have any of the fruit left?
You have one piece.
Anybody? Anybody?
Wait, are we still short?
Nature? Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
still littles.
So short. It's not nighttime yet, is it?
It is not.
Yeah.
How long does that last? Can we just like camp out here?
That's why I was asking if anyone was good with nature. I mean, I can look at it from a magical sense, but it's not going to help us much. No? Nobody? Great. So at any moment, we could get very large, fill this room, and die.
Sucks for y'all.
Thank you so
I can
much.
get out.
I've enjoyed our time together.
As a.
I think our only choice is to wait.
Well, we could leave because obviously they come out at night, and if we run out of time, excluding Awesome Guy, all of us will die in a matter of moments. So
We don't know that they'll die.
okay, excluding
Also,
Smarty Pants and Awesome Guy, I think us 4 will die.
It's pretty big. I don't think I could fit.
Yeah,
this
I don't.
tall.
I'm pretty sure. I don't want to die. I like gold, so I'm thinking we should leave. And I like at night. You know, I can finally be a bat. I can scope out the situation a little bit better now that I know where they're coming from. And even the king offered that he would give me a disappearance. On top of that,
In the event that we do leave, not saying that that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Can I take something back with me to be like, you recognize this, right? Like to the king.
You can certainly try.
No.
What would you like to take?
That's fighting words.
Was there a doorknob on our side of the door
Which,
when the trap door closed?
no.
Cool. Just check.
okay. Well,
I was.
now that I realize that there's no doorknob on the door.
There's no doorknob. We could be crushed. Apparently, I could try to take something out of the room.
I was also going to find out how slippery that beanstalk was. I'm not sure we can
Yeah,
get back up.
that's true.
Oh God.
So, we seem to have some time on our hands.
Are we just waiting around for this door to light up? Are we taking any sort of precautions in this space?
I'm too
Are-
big.
Are there any like clocks in the room? Any clocks? Any like
Sundial.
like sundials? Any
in
anything?
the
Anything?
dungeon? Yeah.
Give me an
Magical sundials.
investigation
Don't need
check.
sun.
You guys have a little bit of time on your hands as you begin to search about the space, looking for various
Oh, that's good.
knick-knackery and
I'm gonna
items.
look through the gold.
Okay.
I'm gonna
20
look
not
through
now.
the gold.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look through the gold. Yeah.
Just like that.
I hope so.
But I
I
also
really
have-
just wanted to Scrooge McDuck it.
20 not nat.
Yeah.
There's a clock in here. It looks like it's not wound or anything of that sort, but it is a small pocket watch.
I'm gonna go pick up the pocket watch,
Okay.
walk towards the door,
Okay.
and wind it,
Okay.
and then I can reach the hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna move the hand to like 8 p.m.
Okay. I like it. It's clever. You move the hand over to where it says 8 p.m. over towards where the door is.
And then I'll just like show it to the
The door responds in a very door-like manner. It appreciates you showing it the time, as very few people have ever done that for the door. And you feel like somewhere, the god of doors, Jeff, would be like, nice.
Gotcha.
All right.
I
So
almost patroned Jeff.
does this make sense? I am weary of the gold in the center, so I want to use fast hands
Okay.
to grab a piece, just to see if anything happens to the chest or if anything happens to the gold, just to like disrupt the gold in some way, but try not to die in the process. That's the concept there.
I'm just kind of like standing like in a corner, just like
Yep.
watching.
Yep, you and I just stand next to each other going, they're all gonna die.
You take a piece of gold. You kind of prep your hands, and it's a really quick and where do you put the gold when you snatch it?
I'm just gonna stare at it or look at it or
Yeah.
kind of see it.
So the first thing you notice, it's not gold from anywhere around here. Like, it's not from Fairly. You actually notice an odd symbol on it as you see what looks to be a large ship on one side of it, and what looks to be a small winged creature on the other side.
Do I know that creature? Can I?
You have no idea. Oh, I mean, it looks like a humanoid figure with wings.
It's a wannabe Batman.
We all are. No. Except for us.
So,
Yeah.
did anything happen to the chest or anything in me doing that?
There's
or?
no chest. This
just
gold
gold
is
everywhere.
loosely
Oh, it's just-
piled.
oh, okay.
There's bits of platinum. There's bags. There's swords. There's hammers. There's other rings, jewelry, necklaces. There's a carpet that's wrapped in cord and shoved off to one corner of the room. There's a metal band ball that's sort of tucked away with pieces of gold and platinum over it. And more of the letters count down as you guys begin to explore this space.
Stitches is gonna investigate more of the bags just because he likes them all, and he's going to as he's doing it, he's a little bit bored, so he's going to pull a few strings and start plucking, not necessarily a song, but
Absentmindedly playing.
Yeah.
Yep, you find a litany of bags, all of different makes and models and sizes and things of that sort, including the one that you found from before.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm keeping that one on my person.
You're keeping that one on your person. Yeah, you find a whole bunch. What are you doing? Are you just like, oh, cool, I found a bag. Are you opening them? Are you looking through them? Or
Yeah, I'll absent-mindedly open a few of them, just dump out the contents and kind of look to see.
Okay, the first one you open is just gold.
Okay.
Like there's not a lot going on there. As you, the second one you open, same thing. Just more gold and platinum pieces. And the third one you open, as you pour it out, this ooze begins to pour out of the bag.
What is that?
And land at your feet. And as you like sort of look at it and like, do you keep pouring out the bag? Do you drop the bag? Do you like?
I think.
As you hesitate, more and more of this ooze is pouring out of the bag, and
I'm just gonna stare at it for a minute, and then I'm just going to. This is terrible, but for his character's sake, I'm going to look in the bag just slightly to see if it's still going to come out, and then I'm going to just drop it.
Yeah. As you look into the bag, there is a sort of like, I don't know what is. Some of the ooze will reach out and grab your face. Grab the bag. Give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
So it's a 19?
19. 19. Yeah, you managed to pull your face away before this thing is able to find purchase, but as you pull backwards and drop the bag, the rest of the ooze flows outwards, congealing at this spot in this room. This large cube of ooze is now collected in this room and is starting to make squelching noises. As it stands in the room in front of Stitches. Nothing is happening as of yet.
It's a snot monster. I've heard of these things.
Wait. I might. Hold on.
We're all just sort of standing in awe and horror.
I think she and I are probably standing in the corner going, oh my god. Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Okay, so I'm gonna try this, and you tell me if it works.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast command on it.
Okay.
And tell it to get back in the bag.
I like it.
Put the ooze in the bag.
It says it's at your discretion, but I can use commands outside of what it says. I have approach, drop, flee, grovel, halt, but it says some typical commands and their effects follow. You might issue a command other than one described here. If you do so, the DM determines how the target behaves. If the target can't follow your command, the spell ends.
Unfortunately, this thing doesn't know what language you're using. It doesn't really know any language. but it is going to move forward towards where Stitches was and was dropped on the ground. And that's where I'm going to have everybody roll initiative, please. As there is a slight rumbling that comes from the door as this cube begins to take full shape and move towards Stitches, and the door simultaneously begins to open.
I'm sorry.
I need anybody who got a 20 to 25.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. What's with your dex? If that is.
Just it's at the top. It'll say
plus 0.
Okay.
I got a nat 20 as well, but it's a 22 with my initiative.
All right. So Fabian, you are up first, followed by Stitches. I need to roll initiative for my boys.
Boys?
Plural.
Multiple?
This is why we don't touch things.
Fabian, you are not first.
Great. Great.
Amazing.
I'm taking
That's a singing juice.
That's my sing.
Where is she?
I have to leave.
You need to go.
Y'all sure you
20
don't
to
want that
15.
lay on
No one got a 20 to 15. All right, my other boy did.
I got a 15.
This is gonna be
My initiative is 13.
15 to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Initiative is 13.
you got it. 10 to 5.
Yeah, 5.
I got 8. I got a rock.
Mark.
Man, we're screwed.
Marky Mark. Feel it. Followed by Malcolm. Okay. The door swings open. With the,
I got a 4.
you got.
I'm still here.
I'm still alive. Nina,
Just
you
leaning
are.
against the wall.
You're gonna be like, I'm gonna wait until the last minute. The black door, boom,
Sounds like
swings
you.
open. There is a sound of thunder as the arcane symbols stop, and you hear this. Finally, we can. As this figure walks into the space, they're wearing full plate armor. They are followed by a smaller figure that looks to be of the same build as they are. If any of you have had I think you've traveled a long enough time that you realize that this is a hobgoblin. This figure that has walked into the space, and this little guy next to him is a goblin. And as they start looking around the space, the goblin tries to like there's a pregnant pause, and then the goblin tries to like close the door back up as it sees you, and the hobgoblin goes, "We're made. Never mind," and sort of shoves the door open and assumes a stance. Okay. You guys are all sort of clumped around this spot with this cube.
Sorry, context. Are we the same height as these guys now?
You
Because
are
our-
the same
yeah,
height
okay.
as these guys right now. As this hobgoblin walks forward, he is going to take a swing at. Let's go around the circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're a little engaged at the moment. All right, Fabian. This hobgoblin's going to walk forward, and he's going to take a strike at you with his long sword. That is a 16 against AC.
Just hits.
Okay. As he takes a swing at you with the long sword, he shuffles forward, striking against you, and that is a. That's not that much. That is 7 points of damage.
Okay.
After he makes the slash at you, he's going to turn and make an attack against you. That is a 18 to hit.
Oh, just barely.
You're going to take 5 points of bludgeoning damage. You need to give me a strength saving throw.
13.
13 is not going to do it. You are knocked prone to the ground, and he looms over you a bit. And he is going to turn around and I think make another attack against Suf as he reaches forward towards her That is a nat 20. Let's roll this again. Okay, Seth, this is gonna hurt.
A lot.
He does 17 points of damage with this strike, which slices into your shoulder, Seth. With that, his turn is done, and the goblin is going to turn invisible. And it's just going to go and disappear into the realm. That is their turn. Fabian.
Is he casting invisibility?
He is casting invisibility.
I would like to counterspell.
Counterspell. Okay. Yeah. You know what? It automatically succeeds as you guys watch as Mark begins to cast, and as he does, the magic for invisibility fades, and the goblin goes shit, and sort of stands out in the open space. That is his turn. Fabian, you're up first.
Who's closest to me? The goblin, because he hit me, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna take a swing with my longsword.
Okay.
I'm gonna channel. Can I channel divinity and then take that hit?
You can. What does channel divinity allow you to do?
Sacred weapon.
Okay.
That takes an action to
Yep.
imbue my weapon, doesn't it? So then I wouldn't be able to attack.
I believe.
Sorry, never mind.
Okay.
Swing it.
Swing away, Meryl. Okay.
That did not go very well.
Okay.
14.
14 is going to miss.
No, wait. I'm sorry. 17.
The shield comes up and it manages to block the attack out of the way.
Two-handed fighting.
Okay. What are you using to attack with this one?
Longsword again?
Two-weapon fighting is
okay, well then Morningstar.
Smaller weapon that you have at your side that you're able to use.
Not Morningstar? Javelin?
I don't believe either
okay,
of those.
then never mind.
Are
I don't have the weapon to do it with.
Okay, that's fine. That's your action. You do anything with your bonus action?
Bonus
Any
action.
spells or anything like that?
Bonus action, I would use, yes.
Stitches, you are up next, followed by the gelatinous cube.
I would use Branding Smite for my next turn. It's a bonus action. Next time you hit a creature with a weapon attack before the spell ends, the weapon gleams with a natural radiance as you strike. Deals an extra 2d6 radiant damage to the target.
Okay. Before the turn ends?
It's the next time I attack.
Next time you attack.
It's a 1 minute duration, right?
1 minute.
Yes.
Perfect. Next time you attack, you're going to do extra damage. Just hit hard. That is your turn. Stitches.
Was it one hob or two hobs that were attacking?
One hob, one goblin, one big ass cube in front of you.
Okay. I'm going to cast Vicious Mockery.
Okay.
On the hob that was.
Okay. What is the save on Vicious Mockery?
15. Wisdom 15.
Wisdom 15. These are not the wisest beings. But he manages to shrug aside this vicious mockery that you begin to make fun of him in a very severe moment from his childhood, and he manages to push it to the side.
Okay.
All right. Is that your action? You do anything with your bonus action?
I'm going to take a step back from the cube.
Okay.
And that'll be my turn.
That'll be your turn. That is your turn. The gelatinous cube is going to follow suit. As you take a step backwards from it, he is going to exit pursued by a bear and make his way forward towards where you are. How many steps back are you taking from this gelatinous cube?
How big is the room?
Room's pretty big. It's a spacious room filled with lots of treasure. Anytime you're walking in the gold or the platinum that's near the entrance, it's going to be difficult terrain.
Okay. At least 5 feet back.
Okay. As you take a step 5 feet back, the creature, the gelatinous cube, is going to chase suit after you. He is going to summon forth a pseudopod and try to take a hit against you. As this pseudopod of the cube reaches forward, a 21 against AC.
Yeah, that hits.
You're gonna take 6 points of acid damage as this pseudopod hits you on the side, and it begins to move ever slowly towards you even more. Okay. That is its turn. The gelatinous cube. Suf.
What's around me at the moment?
Right now around you is a big old hobgoblin. Not too far away is this little goblin. Off on the far side of the room is Stitches, who was digging through bags and poured out a bag, and he's kind of by his lonesome right now with this big sort of cube in front of him. But in front of you is this big old dude.
So I don't have to move to hit the hobgoblin?
No, he's right in front of you. He smacked you around a little bit.
I want to rage.
Okay,
And-
raging is a bonus action. All the muscles begin to like sort of appear on your arm a little bit. Yeah, what are you doing with your action?
I want to hit him.
Hit him. Give me an attack roll.
15.
15. That shield once again comes up, and you're having trouble like pressing against and getting that attack underneath the shield. How many attacks do you get?
I get 2 if I don't have to.
Yeah, make another attack then.
Doesn't hit.
Doesn't it? Once again, he's just so sort of heavily guarded at this point. Like he's managing to deflect the hits that come against him. That is your turn, Seth. We have who's up next? Oh, Malcolm. No. Mark.
Okay. I'm going to use my bonus action to summon a tentacle.
Where are
on
you
the
going
other
to
side
summon?
of the hobgoblin.
Okay.
And it's going to attack for 1d8.
It doesn't need to make an attack roll or anything like that?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
It does not hit with a 10.
No, it does not. As this tentacle appears behind him, and he just sort of turns around and manages to slightly dodge out of the way.
And then, we're just going to do the warlock thing. We're going to Eldritch Blast him.
Do it. Give me some attack rolls.
There. The Eldritch Blast. With an 11 and a 13, that's going to be my whole turn.
Okay. Magic arcane energies fly through the air, making their way towards this hobgoblin, but none of them seeming to find any sort of purchase upon him. Malcolm.
So we have the one hobgoblin, the cube.
A little tiny goblin.
Just the one?
Yeah, little tiny goblin, and then this cube.
That's it, okay. I'll shoot my crossbow at it.
Cool, who are you shooting at?
The hobgoblin.
Okay.
No, I'm not. That's a 5.
We're doing great.
Oh,
and
no,
then-
kids.
I got
and
2
then,
19s and nat 20. I can't hit a freaking.
I'll use my cunning action to hide.
You got 2 19s in that last
No,
attack?
in the early part
Oh,
of the game.
God, okay,
I
yeah,
got
I
all
was
the
like-
high rolls, and now I'm
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Okay.
And my cunning action, I'm gonna hide.
Okay, you're just gonna like
Just hide somewhere and just maybe like behind.
Gonna like tuck
Yeah.
down
Behind the
behind
armor
some
or-
Tuck down,
gold.
give me a stealth roll as you attempt to hide in a little like side area.
17 plus 9. 17 plus 9. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys look around. You're like, Malcolm. That was really Malcolm. Like
Yeah.
Malcolm's gone. Like he's just sort of stealth and hidden.
I am the knight.
Nina.
So have any of the enemies taken damage yet?
Mm-mm.
I don't think
No.
so. He keeps using.
Oh no,
shield.
wait, you did the Eldritch Blast.
I didn't
missed.
hit.
You missed?
Okay. Let's see then. I am going to do. I'll cast Sacred Flame.
Okay. On who?
The Hobgoblin.
Okay.
That
It's
would be.
Sacred Flame. That's a save, right? That's not an attack.
Let me see.
I think it's a Wisdom save, right?
Oh, Dex save.
Dex save.
Cool, because I rolled a 2.
Well, don't tell me that. He's actually going to fail his Dex save. This might be the first time he takes damage.
So it's 2d.
Yes, someone is doing something.
So that
Something good has
is
happened.
16 fire damage.
There is a look of shock and surprise as you guys make your way through these litany of attacks and nothing seems to hit, and the small elf in the corner sighs and a little bit of fire creeps along the edges of the armor, and he looks shocked as this blue flame seems to ignite along his body.
Does he realize where it came from?
Absolutely he does. Okay, it is his turn now. As this hobgoblin lets out a guttural scream and marches forward towards where you are, allowing Fabian, Suth, to take. Fabian and Suth, did he take melee attacks against anyone else? I think it was just the two of you. He to take opportunity attacks against him. I would say, Mark, you're close enough proximity that if you would like to take an opportunity attack as well. Yeah. Yes. Take your opportunity attacks if you would like to against this hobgoblin as he marches forward to where Nina is.
That's a 27 to hit.
That hits. Roll damage.
Really? It works so well.
It does.
Most of the time.
70% of the time, it works every time.
3, 4, 5, 6 plus 7, 13 points of damage.
Okay.
And I do have 2 attack.
Not on an opportunity.
Not on this, but I'm just saying for the round that's coming.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. There's a boo, and he walks past you. Give me an attack.
16.
16 does not hit as he makes his way past. Mark.
I got a 22 and a 6.
On what?
Eldritch Blast. Warcaster.
Do you have war? You do have
I do have Warcaster.
The 22 hits. Roll damage.
10.
Yep, 10 points of damage. He looks a little beat up. He looks a little like hurried. And I think as he walks forward, he's going to use his bonus action to grab the goblin. No, he'll be fine. He's going to walk forward and take a swing against you.
Okay.
Okay.
So I am gonna use my shield reaction.
Okay.
Which gives me +5 to my AC.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. I'm rolling hot tonight. So that's a 29 to hit.
Damn.
So
Yeah, it hits.
Yeah. I will stop rolling with that dice. I promise. That is 16 points of damage as he slams into you with the first attack. That is a 17 against AC.
Misses.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. And that is a 23 against AC.
Hits. Only 20.
He does only 7 points of damage this turn with the sword as it swings into you wildly, and he just begins screaming out in rage. The goblin at this point will. I'm so sorry. They're the really good dice that I'm not going to say who bought them for me, but they're sitting on the table. There is a little squeak of fear from the goblin as the goblin will turn around and look back at the rest of the group, and he's going to take a. He's going to shoot a crossbow over to where you are. That is a 14 against AC.
Nope.
Not going to do it.
Nope.
Okay. The arrow, like sort of, you dodge past as the arrow sort of makes its way. That is the hobgoblin and the goblin's turn. Fabian.
How close am I to Nina?
Nina, he took some steps past you. I'd say he's about 15 feet away from you.
So I could get to you.
You could.
So I'm gonna go over. Wait.
How much?
He took steps away from me, so I'm not. That was an attack of opportunity. I'm not.
You are. He took the attack of opportunity from you.
Okay. Just making sure before I step over.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna go over. Lay hands for.
Don't look at her character sheet.
Sorry. Wow.
You say nothing.
I mean, I know
Just
that she's
be
in pretty bad shape.
John
Yeah.
You know she's not doing great.
Okay. I'm gonna give her 15 points.
Cool. You are healed for 15 points as Fabian. What?
A very specific person sent me a very entertaining image, and I should not have checked it. However,
That's enough, Indigo Chameleon. Yep, you are healed for 15 points of healing. So are you doing anything with your bonus action?
Yes, I am.
You are.
Doing a thing with that. I'm gonna cast. Wait, how long does that last? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not.
That's
I got
okay.
things.
You are up.
I'm
next,
gonna cast
Stitches.
Branding Smite again.
Branding Smite again. Okay. It is still active, I believe, for 1 minute. The
Oh,
next
is
time you
it?
make a-
Then I'm not using that.
Okay. Cool.
I will hold my action.
Okay.
No? I don't know what I'm doing. I told you I don't paladin.
I
read through your abilities.
I am.
Double check that.
No, I didn't. I was distracted. I was yelling at someone. So I don't really know what happened.
You are good, buddy. I don't think you need to recast Branding Smite
No.
because you did not make an attack. With
Well, it was my attack of opportunity, wasn't it? That was my next melee attack.
Oh, it was. And did you land that attack?
I did.
So did you roll the damage
I
for
did.
your Branding Smite? Oh, if you've already done that, then you recast it again. That's perfect.
Casting again.
Okay. Your turn, Stitches.
Okay, not close to a wall or anything yet, right? Still just me and this cube and kind
This
of the center.
cube is sort of chasing after you.
Right, right. Okay, so
should try singing to it.
I mean, so I'm gonna take another. Okay, I'll take another 5 feet back.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna cast Cloud of Daggers.
Okay.
In front of me.
Okay. Got it. This little floating thing of daggers, floating cloud of daggers. You doing anything with your bonus action?
No.
Okay.
Done with it, yeah.
Good. Yeah, he's looking nervous. Stitches is getting a little confused as this cube once again oozes straight through this cloud of daggers and takes the appropriate damage found therein. As that happens, roll damage for that and give me a dexterity saving throw as this cube tries to move into your space.
Seven for the damage.
Okay.
That's an 8 for the save.
Here is what happens. Stitches gets absorbed as this cube creeps forward and gets swallowed up. You take 10 points of acid damage. As you are engulfed, it is hard for you to breathe. You are restrained. Okay? For the time being. You can make another attempt to escape on your turn. Okay? That is that turn. You guys all watch as Stitches goes, no, 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 and then it's kind of swallowed up by this thing. Suf.
What's next to me right now? I know the hobgoblin went after her.
The hobgoblin went after her. You're about equidistant from this cube that just swallowed your buddy, and the hobgoblin that's backing down Nina.
See, I know if I attack the hobgoblin, I could definitely do something. I have no idea what to do to the cube.
Great. So
I'm gonna go that way.
stride forward. Yep.
Yeah, and can I hit her? Can I attack him in the same?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
You take some steps forward, and you're just like soft smash.
21 to hit.
21 hits. Roll damage for me.
10 plus 5, 15.
15 points of damage. Yep. You gonna take a second attack against it?
Yeah.
Yep. You're rolling rage damage with this too, right? Are you doing rage damage with this?
Does it add?
It does add a bit of damage to that. That's okay. That's okay. You're a barbarian for the first time. This is the
Okay, it's a 21 again.
21 to hit. Okay.
And then, so I would do.
Reroll it.
Okay, I don't know what happened to that. Should
Yeah, reroll it.
please be nice and land somewhere? Okay, 8 plus 5 plus 3. So, okay, 16, fine.
All right. How do you want to kill him?
Oh, yes.
How do you want to do it?
Oh, yes.
Seth walks forward and just with her weapon in hand. What does she have in her hand?
She has a great axe.
Okay, yeah, you just start wailing away at the back of this thing as it's moving towards Nina, looking to take out Nina, and just like its anger has blinded it, and it sort of opens up this ability for you to just wail into this thing.
He hit me in the shoulder. I'm gonna take him, through the shoulder, into the chest.
Yeah.
Take it down.
Stuff with the axe. It like slams into the meat, and it's so hard and with such force, the hobgoblin's sort of shocked, and as Seth brings up the axe again to hit him again, like a second time, it goes down even further into the same wound. She brings it up instinctively for a third time, and when she does, he's still stuck to the axe. And it's like one of those like
get off.
like get off. And like but as that happens, the goblin will take his crossbow and just kind of throw it down on the ground. When it gets to his turn. Mark.
How big is this cube?
Pretty big. Large.
Is there enough room for me to stick my hand into this and grab Stitches?
Oh no.
You don't know if this is gonna hurt you or not.
Oh, I assume that it will.
Okay.
Can I grab him?
Give me a strength check. This is athletics as you shove your fist through the cube in order to grab it around him. I'm open for any other argument if you have another thing that would work.
I mean, I have athletics, so it's not a problem. Is this going to be my action to grab him?
I will,
because
I love you, this will be a bonus action to grab him.
I mean, that
is a 13.
I don't see.
13?
Yeah.
I mean, well, no, you can't because you're not.
You managed to shove and just wrap your fingers around his foot.
Like, are you trying to?
Great.
Like, you can't.
I'm going to sigh. I'm going to cast Thunderstep with him.
You can ask him.
Okay.
I like it.
You wrap your fingers around, and then there is a. Is there a save for Thunderstep, or it just takes
There's a
damage?
Constitution of 15.
I mean, no one will be upset with
It does not make it save.
10,
Dang it.
19, 23 points of thunder.
Thunder
damage.
This cube begins to vibrate a little bit as he backs away, and there's a. As Stitch, you are out of the cube and off in a little like pile of gold. Kind of look at both of you are covered in slime. You from the arm up, and you just kind of like the bag is a little moist. But you are laying in a pile of gold. That is your turn.
Yes, that's my whole entire turn.
Malcolm, you are up.
So I'm gonna use sneak attack.
You need to make an attack. And who are you aiming this at? There's a little goblin, and then there's
the goblin and the slime thing.
there's a
Still
slime.
alive.
Yeah.
So I aim at the slime thing.
Okay. You are hidden, so this attack is going to be at advantage.
Yeah. Alright. 18. Wait. Is that 18?
18 against the cube.
18 plus what?
Yeah, it's a big old cube. It does not have a
Big
huge
ol'.
AC. Like it's yeah.
Alright, so 18 hits? I
Yeah.
guess. Okay.
Give me a roll some damage for me and add your sneak attack damage to all this.
This is the damage part. The 4. So. Yeah, this is sneak attack. This is sneak attack.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then do your normal damage as well.
Oh, okay. Which would be
So the roll the damage for the attack as well. That is Malcolm's taking his turn right now. Nina is up next with the body of this hobgoblin in front of her.
So this is a lot of math. All right, here we go. So it's gonna be 9 for the normal attack.
Okay.
So 6.
Right, but plus.
Okay.
Plus
Okay.
yeah. And then so it's gonna be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 for the sneak attack.
15 for sneak attack.
And then 9
So
for
24 total.
24 total. Okay. The cube begins to quiver a little bit between that and the thunder wave. Like it's not looking awesome. That is its turn. Nina.
Okay, I am going to cast Toll the Dead on the cube since
Okay.
it's taken damage, so that's 2d12.
Okay.
Let's see.
Is there a save for Toll the Dead?
Right now.
Does it have to be able to hear?
It's a wisdom saving throw, and it
Wi-
does not say it has to be here.
Okay. It does not make it save.
No.
Not
That
at all.
is 9 damage.
9 points of damage. It's quivering and it looks like it's having trouble maintaining its shape. With all that being said, it's the goblin's turn. The goblin who no one is in melee with, it goes over to one of the gold pieces and concentrates really hard on the gold piece and will take it and fling it at you because you killed his buddy. As he flings it forward towards you, there is a little bit of fear in your eyes as that coin all of a sudden grows in the small space you are in and presses you up against the wall as this. It gives me a dexterity saving throw to see if you can avoid this coin being thrown at you.
I don't have good dice. Oh, 18 plus 1.
If you are raging, I
And-
believe you have danger sense, so like that's gonna make it. But I think you can take those dex saves at advantage.
Okay, well,
Just something good to know for the future. You can go.
Nat 20 on the second one.
I gotta do something good too. Crit vision. So I think there's this weird moment of like the coin flies through the air, and as it does, it grows and grows and grows and grows and grows, and you go, oh crap, it's growing back to its original size. It's like a legit gold coin, and it slams into Suth against the wall. And there's this pause where he's like, I think I killed her, and then there's a boom as she just does this like push up back from the wall, shoving the coin forward back against the goblin. I think I'll give him a dex save that he fails miserably. And he is currently restrained as this gold coin you just go yeet and the gold coin goes flying and presses him up against the floor. So he is currently contained underneath the weight of the coin. Fabian, there is still the cube in the room that is currently needing to be taken care of.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take an attack against the cube with my longsword.
Okay.
My hands are really slippery.
They're really slippery.
And I missed with the first attack because it was a 2, so
Okay.
that would be a 10. Second attack with my longsword.
What is the total damage, or what is the total attack against the cube? Even with a 2.
Even with a 2?
It's a cube.
Oh, well, my AC was 10 on that. Or
No.
The attack was a 10.
That attack hits.
Oh, okay.
Roll damage.
So I'm going to go ahead and do smite as well. Divine smite.
Well, you had branding or smite on
They
there.
don't stack?
I think that I'll say they do. They do. I've never had a paladin. Stack them up, baby.
4. 9.
Okay. Never mind, they don't stack.
16.
I'm pretty sure they don't. Stack. You can.
17.
Nope, they definitely don't.
23.
Fine. Just please stop.
Wait, but I'm almost done.
Yeah,
I'm almost done.
that's great.
Wait, there's
18
more.
plus
Crap.
7. So
Your cube is dead.
25.
The gelatinous cube explodes. As it does, there's like little spits of slime that seem to echo out throughout the entire chamber as this gelatinous cube just like explodes. As it does, you hear this little squeak of pain from the goblin who is trying to support himself underneath this huge coin that has fallen on top of him.
That was gross.
I'm covered in blood and slime. This is a good
So
time.
do we want to kill him or do we want to take him to the king?
I walk over and step on the coin, but I don't crush him. I'm just stepping on the coin.
We still gotta find out who is taking all the stuff and why.
That coin that's just the weight that is needed as this coin. It was a
You blew his head off.
It's a tiny little goblin. Like he's a tiny little thing. Like as he steps, there's a little squish, pop. A little bit of blood starts to leak out, and everything in the cave begins to vibrate. as the magic holding this all
Great.
still
Great.
to what it was begins to
I had to kill
lose
someone.
shape and form. This is going to be a race to the top, kids. You guys go tearing out of the cave, correct? Is anyone saying? You go tearing out of the cave, and as you do, you are hearing the faint pops and sounds of things that were once shrunk down in the cave starting to enlarge. The first obstacle you get to is this giant door that doesn't have a doorknob on it. How are we handling this? This is going to be a speed trial. I need a quick solution.
What is the door made of?
The door is made out of wood.
I would look at Fifth and just like
Can I just ram it?
Smash.
Can I just ram it to it?
Stuff is like
Are you still?
door and just barrels
Out!
I will say you're still raging at this point. Give me a strength check at advantage as you just.
I was gonna help, but
I
don't need
you
to.
did. I think you were like door, son.
Get it.
10. It's it.
At
Oh my
advantage,
God.
you go, poof, and it doesn't work. Somebody's gonna have a chance to do like one extra thing here.
I'll hit it as well.
Okay.
Eldritch Blast.
Sword.
Yeah, I thought about flashing the door.
Sword up.
Force damage to it.
11 plus strength. Hold on. It's athletics, right?
Yep.
16.
16. There was like a and you're like, I don't think I sword, and it's like you did it. As the sword falls down, you guys start tearing through this hallway once again. You're running and you're running. I need everybody here to give me an acrobatics check as you are making your way down this hallway as fast as
Nat
possible.
20.
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
19.
Nat 20. 19. 10. 8. Okay,
You're
so
behind us, it's cool.
You guys are all running, and then all of a sudden you see Stitches kind of lose his foot a little bit, and as he does, he grabs onto Malcolm, and the two of them tumble. So the four of you hit the brakes, skidding to a stop as the two of them fall down to the ground, and you're seeing this avalanche of like full-size pieces of gold, bags, swords, and stuff like that filling up the cavity. What are we doing?
We got 3 nat 20s. There's no way one of us caught one of them.
Yeah, I would say 3 nat 20s. Who catches who?
I'll catch him.
Okay.
Or wait,
Okay,
hold
I
on.
think
Who's bigger?
I'm 5'11".
He's
I'm
he's
6 foot.
tiny. Oh,
You're
he's
6
6
foot.
foot.
You're 6
Oh,
foot?
okay.
I'll
That's
grab
the
him.
difference of.
Yeah, so you're like you know, like, and you just like, you reach forward and grab him up and pick him up, and you keep running.
I'm
as
gonna
you
go.
pick him up.
I'm gonna throw.
Anybody picking up Batman?
Thanks, guys.
Fabian will run back and grab him, or try to.
How about this? Fabian, as you're running forward and you begin to fall, Malcolm, you tap into the inherent magic that you have within you, and a true voice echoes out in the back of your head as this darkened cavern begins to fill up with gold and stuff like that, cutting out the light from this other room. The magic inherent in the cloak kicks off, and you realize that you don't need to be Malcolm the Rogue. You don't need to be anything other than the Batman. And as you realize this, as you're falling towards the ground, there is a... yeah, you turn into a small bat and begin to fly out of the cave.
As he's falling, you just hear, I am, and then
I am the knight.
And it loses some of its effect. And so, I am the bat begins to fly forward, and Malcolm now takes the lead as he gets over to where the beanstalk is leading upwards. However, there are no footholds in this beanstalk. All of the leaves have fallen down thanks to Suth sliding down it.
All right, so I want to go straight up
You
immediately.
fly straight up the beanstalk.
As soon as I get up there, I want to transform back to Batman.
Okay.
Or back to normal. Malcolm.
Okay.
Yell for a rope or something from somebody. From the guards.
There is a
anybody.
really tiny voice that's going,
Yeah, I was like, are we? Ooh.
and none of the guards seem to be paying attention.
Oh yeah, I
to
didn't.
it.
I
If
didn't.
I boost people, can they roll advantage to get up the rope?
They can. They're going to have to make athletics checks as they're having to use basically their strength unless you have other ways of going up this beanstalk.
Can I do a quick investigation check, see if I can find any vines or anything? To...
Do that as you're doing that. What are you doing right now for this, Stitches?
I'm going to use my Clear
Okay.
to cast Fly on myself.
Okay.
I'm going to join Malcolm up there.
Deuces!
You're like, do you want to boost? And Stitches is like, ooh. And you're like,
I saved your life!
never forget me.
Tell Thistleby I love him!
Wait, what? Stitches flies upward and out of the tiny hole. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm gonna grab some. Yeah, what do you got?
That is an excellent question.
Okay.
What is your strength?
My strength, it's 21, like, because I have that belt. I have the belt of Hill Giant.
I think there's a moment where the two of you realize that there's a move that the two of you could do where we go like 1 foot in, like the two of you could work together and
throw them,
toss people up. 2 people are
Heck
out
yeah,
of the game.
let's do this.
Okay.
Because my strength is 9, so.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna tie you to the rope and then pull you to the top. But that
Nina,
works too.
Fabian and Seth look at you and they do this thing where they like,
Get on!
they hold their hand up.
Okay.
Okay? Give me an acrobatics check. At advantage as the two of them just hoist you and they
Oh,
try.
good thing it's advantage. 16.
16. You're like, oh, I don't know about like, and they throw you as hard as they can. You manage to do this like sort of tumble and roll outside of the dirt next to Malcolm, who helps you, grabs your hand right at that last second and sort of pulls you out and sets you across.
Does anyone have any rope?
Just
Who's
Stitch,
out of the
just as
tunnel?
Stitch is looking, just as Stitch flies out.
Does anyone have rope or had a rope?
Shouldn't the starter kits have like hemp rope or something? in it?
30 feet.
Cool.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
One of y'all go. I can get the other one out. One of y'all go.
Okay, I'll start climbing.
Go ahead.
Athletics check.
23.
He
No,
begins-
22. Sorry.
He begins to climb up.
Cool. I grab her and we dimension door.
Cool. As he gets about midway up, there is a, and then he's like, you start climbing, and you're like, got it. And you start climbing, and then as you look up, they're like, you can do it. And you look back down, and you realize that you're the only one. As the cascade begins to like start pushing
I'm gonna
forward,
reach my hand
Can we
and
pull
becoming
the
larger.
vine up?
As the vine gets cut off from the bottom,
No!
you feel the vine start to come down. You reach a hand forward, and you guys start to grab onto the vine. Give me a strength saving throw as
Oh,
you
I'm so
grab
scared.
onto it to try to hold on to this.
15
in time.
plus
You
6,
give me a strength
21.
save. 21. You grabbed onto the top of the vine, and
18.
18. You manage to hold on as the bottom gets cut out from underneath it. Your hand is reaching forward, but his arms are wrapped around this vine, not wanting to fall down and get crushed by the cascade of gold and things of that sort. So you're now holding it. Are you going to try to pull him in his weight?
Teamwork.
Teamwork.
Yeah, I'll jump in with that.
Everybody grabs a hold of a little bit of this beanstalk, following Seth's lead, and starts pulling this thing up with Fabian being like, a little faster, please. Like,
I really don't want to die
I
here.
don't want to die. You know what? Seth, with them backing your play here, give me a strength saving throw at advantage.
I'm so scared. Oh. 15, 21.
With a one last yeet, the beanstalk is like pulled up with everyone helping. It goes flipping through the air with you still attached.
Right.
And there's a like, as you go flying and sort of land in a bunch of flowers as this eruption of gold and weaponry and all sorts of other things erupt from the ground, almost as if they're flowers growing up. The rest of you are running. At one point, you get up and dust yourself off, Fabian, to see the rest of the group moving past you, and Stitch is being like, "You should get up and run."
Maybe we should go.
All of you manage to run out of the garden as you do. The last effects of the flower fading away from you, and you all, as you begin to run, grow to a full size. As the king's garden is utterly, completely, totally destroyed
no.
by the eruption of gold and hats and things of that sort. It is the sound alone has gathered the attention of all the guards as they all sort of stare down in shock and awe. The king comes running out from the house, from the main area, and sort of looking at the garden and being like, oh. Well, you found everything. That's good.
You're welcome.
Sorry about your garden. I know it means a lot to you.
It's fine. Nature finds a way. And one
Are you
little,
about to cry?
I'm not crying. You're crying. The king doesn't cry, and a little
I'm not
tear.
crying like Batman.
Flows down his face. The king goes, take care of them, would you? And his right hand gnome sort of shakes his head yes, and comes forward and granting each of you a sizable sack of gold. And as you open the gold sack, it is gold and platinum intermingled throughout. As you each come into more money on your person than you've ever seen before for such a high paid job. he hands each of the sacks to you, and inside there's also a favor granted to you, almost like a boon granted from the king of Fairly, that you are each given in return to ask a favor of the king, should you so choose. You look on the back and of your little favor from him, and he used like, it says like date question mark.
Covered in blood and slime and dirt as I am, I'm gonna lift the little man and give him a kiss on the cheek.
He's immediately grateful and utterly disgusted that some of this blood and viscera, and he says, "This is the greatest day. This is the greatest day of my life." And I think that's where we're gonna end tonight's episode, guys. Thank you so much for playing with us on this Sunday. We don't normally get to play, and I've really missed Fairly. You guys never even checked the notice on Craigslist, so I can save that quest for another time. But we took the Jack and the Beanstalk take tonight, and I'm really happy that you did. I had a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, you guys are the best. Indigo Connect, there is always a spot at the table for each and every one of you audience members and everybody that played tonight. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys soon. We love you.